Well, I could give you the resume. I could sit there and say, well, he did this and he did that and he did this. And the truth of the matter is, you know him and you know what he's done. That's Charley Johnson. And he has chosen to get into politics, whether he wants to admit it's politics or not. How you been, Charley?
I've been great, Joel. Thanks for having me on.
In fairness to you, I'm being kind of a smart.
Thanks for being fair.
Yeah.
It's a little early to be unfair.
But you have actually been in politics for quite some time.
I've certainly been, sniffing around the edges of it.
When you run the Convention and Visitors Bureau,
there was certainly some. You have to be involved with politicians,
and you're a leader in the community. And so now you're saying, you know what, you're willing to serve on that Moorhead City Council. I mean,
yeah, I'd like to see what it's like from the inside, I guess.
Yeah,
for years I covered it as a broadcast journalist, and then working at the Visit Fargo Moorhead for 13 years. Got heavily involved in local politics in all three cities, so I've certainly been around it. I've always liked politics. When I was working in broadcasting, my favorite night of the year was election night. Oh. I loved election night and everything leading. I hated all the hard ticky-tacky work beforehand, getting ready, getting all the races from all the different counties. But in the end, it was great because it let me. I learned so much about what was going on. So when we were on the air that night. If I was on the air or if I was producing in the control room, I could, help inform people of what was going on. So, but you really have to love it. You know this. You have to love it to get into the weeds like that.
Yep. And same. I mean, in the early days of radio, the way election night was, we'd be packed in this room and pizzas and you know what? Yeah. The way they give you the numbers now. It's no fun at all.
Yeah, well, it comes so fast.
It's like come on, great. Just leaks, and then all of a sudden, boom, there. Yeah. So you might just wait. And that being said,
but setting up the coverage, deciding where back in my day, we had limited live units, and we tried to make sure we were set up at all the key places where the big actors were.
Yeah,
Well, they are kind of actors, but where the big
you're
candidates were,
for political office now.
Where the big candidates were, and make sure that we were able to get live interviews with them, and it was a logistical thing that was fascinating, but also I love the fact that no matter how hard you planned, you had to fly by the seat of your pants because you never knew what was going to happen and what was going to change. One of my favorite nights was one of the first times we had a live setup from Bismarck. This was when I was at KXJB, so this had to be like 80 or 82 maybe. We were still in the old Quonset hut, and I actually found myself sitting on the set interviewing Earl Strinden, who was in Grand Forks. And I think it was Buckshot Hoffner who was in Bismarck. And I had them on a split screen behind me. I thought I had died and gone to heaven, technically. It was the first time I'd ever seen that happen. It was so much fun, I didn't want to stop. But it was those little victories like that.
Yeah.
And I hope I asked them meaningful questions. I don't remember. But
you don't get to be an anchor for years like you did without asking.
Well, if you didn't ask the right questions, those guys would call you out on it.
Oh, Buckshot?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
And Earl was no.
Mm-hmm.
Who was your first anchor when you first got into broadcasting?
That I watched, you mean? Or you mean when I worked?
Yeah, that you worked with.
Well, who
was the Charley Johnson when you were?
When I started at Channel 4, it was a guy named Doug Moore.
Okay.
And he left like a year later. I started in 74. He left in 75, so I got promoted then. He went to Milwaukee first and then to Minneapolis. He was at WCCO for a while. They did. He was part of the Moore and Moore team at WCCO. Dave Moore, the venerable anchorman that everyone loved, and Doug Moore co-anchored together for a while.
Yeah. Excuse me. Talk amongst yourselves. I remember my dad was completely addicted to Jim Adelson.
Oh, Jim was a great guy.
He just saw Jim, and
I was Jim's longest running anchor. He loved to tell me that. We lasted 10 years together. He says nobody else did.
But to get to know Jim the way I did before, we lost him, and I'd have him on the show all the time.
Yeah.
And it was just such a treat. And my dad was gone, and I always wondered. I always wanted to be able to look at Dad and say, I talked to Jim Adelson, and you didn't.
Yeah, I talked to Jim a lot. I went down to see him, like a couple months before he died. It was great to catch up with him. He was great. We had a lot of fun together. I'm sure we drove each other crazy sometimes, but there are a lot of stories I could tell you that I would have to go off air for.
Well, yeah, you've been a leader in this community for a long time. And folks, when he came into the studio now and he sits down and we go to a break and I look at him and I go, what are you doing?
That's probably a valid question.
Yeah, I mean,
my wife asked that question.
He is running for the Moorhead City Council. Yeah. And,
Ward 4.
I mean, you're in great shape. You look young, but the truth of the matter is,
I'm not young. Yeah.
Well, neither one of us is young. I mean, at this phase of your life, you're taking on this huge challenge. I mean, why?
Yeah, well, first of all, I never really, I'm sure I'll reach a point where I want to just sit around every day and do, and I mean, I love to read.
It's called a minnow. It's called a night crawler, Charlie. You throw it in the water and
hey, I'm golfing tomorrow. It'll be, we ride bike a lot. But it's good to have something to do to keep your mind going too.
Yeah.
I think is important. And I've lived in Moorhead. Mary and I have lived in Moorhead for 39 years next week, and I, like you said, I've been on the outside of it, sniffing around the edges for a long time. I felt like it might be okay for me to actually, instead of throwing things into the arena, try to get in there and see what's going on.
A lot of times when somebody, and you're going to end up on the Moorhead City Council, when you get to be a councilman, a lot of times you look at it and say, okay, sit there and learn, learn the process before.
Absolutely.
Charlie, it's going to be the opposite. And I'm not saying you're going to be rude. That isn't my point. My point is you're not going to have the learning curve that the other people that hold office for the first time on the council are going to have. Take it as a compliment. Take it as whatever you want.
I hope so.
You're going to hit the ground running.
I've followed it, but there's still a lot to learn. Believe me, I've been going to city council meetings, and I'm kind of taken by the fact that the council meetings go really fast these days, so that there must be some other meetings happening somewhere else that I hope I get invited to if I win, if I should be so lucky as to win. But at least I'm paying more attention now to what's on the agendas. I've been going to meetings for a couple of months now.
What's the typical length?
Of number of items, I don't know, like 30 or 40, but they have the consent agenda like they do in Fargo. They handle it a little differently. But the meetings, I haven't been to one that lasted more than an hour, and most of them are done in less than an hour.
I worked for a board for 23 years. I worked for a board at Real Water, different boards even, 3 of them at one time. And one president of the board, or chair, whatever you want to call him, he looked at everybody and he said, look, I got the keys now. I got the gavel. Here's the deal. There's no meeting that goes beyond 2 hours that anybody pays attention to anymore. 2 hours, that's what you get. And he was right.
Oh, 2 hours is fine, yeah. 1 hour is fast for a meeting that covers
Agreed.
A lot of different things. So I'm not criticizing. I just don't know exactly how the sausage is being made behind it. So actually, there's a meeting on Monday. All the candidates are invited to that the city's putting on, which is an educational session for us to learn the ins and outs of what happens at City Hall. I'm looking forward to that and seeing what's there that I
Is anybody running against you?
Yeah, I have an opponent, a gentleman named Rick Rask. I haven't met him yet, but I'm sure he's a fine fellow.
Okay. Well, Rick, I didn't mean to say that you're not going to win this.
I take it seriously. I don't think anybody really wants me out campaigning till after Labor Day, though. So.
I know you will. I know that. You don't take anything for granted. But
no.
For me, you knock on my door, you give me a pamphlet, I look at you, and
do I need pamphlets? Oh yeah. Okay. No, I'm working on that.
Give me a hat. I'll give you some KFGO ones. But I look at you and say, okay, what are you going to do?
Okay, well. I don't have any I'm going to do this on day one. First of all, I think that's a crazy approach. We've seen how well that works at the national level. I think I'm going to learn what I can. I think we need to do everything we can. It sounds like a cliche. Housing is out of sight for people. It's hugely costly to have a single family home these days. There's no magic bullet to that at all. It's just one of those things I think we need to work on. I don't have a specific plan how to build a bunch of homes for people that they can afford to buy, but I think cities and governments of all levels need to be involved in trying to make things more affordable for people, specifically housing. I think that's an important thing. I really like the direction Moorhead is going in its downtown. I am not critical of that at all. In fact, I like the fact that around the Loop, the new Moorhead Library, I'm on the library board, By the way, there's a fundraising event tonight at Rustica.
There you go.
Probably still get tickets with author Will Weaver. But the way they've established that and that they're waiting for people to say they want to build on those plots that are available, I think that's the right way to go. Instead of throwing things up and then hoping somebody will put something in it, that's the way it should be done. So, and I think downtown Moorhead will benefit from the convention center going in downtown Fargo. There's no question about that.
And I can go under the railroad. Can I point that out?
Yes. The new underpass is going to open.
That's going to be
very soon. Very soon. It looks to me like they're just finishing Center Avenue now. Is what it looks like. So.
Moorhead looks new.
It's coming.
And that's a compliment to Shelley and a lot of folks. But Moorhead, when you drive through it, which I did when I came home from Duluth, I chose to go
Highway 10.
And go through that way rather than hop on the interstate and come back at KFGO. But when I drove through it, I said this to my co-pilot that I was riding with. I said, "Look at how new this city is becoming." And when I drive by out on the interstate, I see that career academy. That the Moorhead Public School, and Moorhead Public School is, you can talk about Moorhead State, you can talk about Concordia, you can talk about Moorhead Tech, you can talk about all those things. Great schools, I get it. But the high school, the public school in Moorhead is amazing.
Yep, and they have that brand new high school too, which is beautiful. Man, I haven't been in the new theater yet. I was a theater major in college, and I acted in high school. I was like, it seats 1,000 people. That's like, I can't wait to get in there and see what it's like.
Yeah.
And they have such a good program over there, too.
So I've got a job for you because you're still at my door handing me that pamphlet. We're under that scenario yet, right?
Okay.
Somebody, and I know people have tried this, but I don't know that they've won as much as I think they should win. But I think someone needs to spend time from Moorhead in St. Paul to look at them and say, look, the rules are different where we live than where you live. We are a border city. And while we love our neighbors and we work together in so many good ways, we still have to compete against Fargo. And the rules have to allow us to compete against Fargo. And, I don't know how you solve that, Charlie, but it needs to be fixed.
Well, and they've been working on it for years. And there is border cities legislation that has come along, come and gone, come along, come and gone. I mean, things have changed over the years. I mean, there's been border cities legislation for towns like Moorhead for a long time. But yes, I think there are more things that could be done. And maybe one of the driving factors for me would be I go to Chamber of Commerce State of the Cities meetings, and somebody will get up and talk about how they don't want to do business in Moorhead because of Minnesota. And it's like I'd like to try to dispel that. I think there's a lot of good reasons to do business in Moorhead. But yes, the state could help more, and hopefully we'll be able to get that done. I think Mayor Carlson and the rest of the council and preceding mayors have done a pretty good job of that, but you just have to keep hammering on it because I think I credit Dan Molley with this quote, but it was something that he said that got my attention when I was at Visit Fargo Moorhead. And he said the problem with St. Paul is they want to treat Moorhead like it's another outstate city. They want to treat Moorhead like it's Bemidji or Fergus Falls or even Mankato or something, a standalone community of 40 to 50,000 people, and it doesn't act like that. It acts like it's part of either the second or third largest metro area that touches Minnesota, and they need to make adjustments for that so it can compete in that metropolitan area. Oh. That's the message that has to be given. So City Manager Dan Molley's correct. I mean, that's a great way to talk to them and say, you can't act like we're a standalone community of 45,000 people. It's part of a 260,000 metro area, and you need to compete that way.
Well, ask St. Paul.
Yes, exactly.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at
stop throwing up barriers. Is what we
if I would have looked at you a year ago or 2 years ago and said, Charlie, what do we need? What does this metro area need? You would have told me a convention and visitors bureau. You would have said
convention center. I did,
and you accomplished that.
Yeah,
right. And so I'm going to ask you this in the 1 minute I have left: what does Moorhead need?
Well, we're not going to build a convention center. That's not what I was. I think Moorhead just needs continued steady growth and collaboration with the communities around it, and continuing to talk to St. Paul about getting concessions on the border cities aspect of it. Moorhead is a growing place. Moorhead has lots of housing available for people, lots. Way more, I think. More, I think, than Fargo. Last I heard. We're going to run out of time where I'd give you an anecdote about that. But I see. Mary and I live on the southeast edge of Moorhead, and we've seen houses come out that way like crazy. There's a whole development that's almost finished now, and then next year they're going to move across the road to the south, across 40th Avenue. So there's lots of growth there, and there's lots of room for growth. And the community is growing. I think for a long time, people thought West Fargo would be bigger than Moorhead by now, but it's not yet.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, your police
Moorhead
force
hangs in there.
Your police force is amazing. Your fire department. I mean, you've got a great foundation.
Yeah, it's a well-run community.
Living in the southeast, though, you got to look out for Tank. He lives over there. So
yeah, I run into him sometimes.
Be careful. Charlie, good luck to you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I'm supposed to ask this. Do you have a website, a Facebook page? I mean, where do you want people?
I'm working on that, and I'll have something for you after the
the brochure.
Labor Day. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, right. Yes, I'm working on it. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a cliche.